What is up, everybody? We are here in New Hampshire for MCSC Network Convo Couch and Mi Casa Es Su Casa stream. We are using all the bandwidth available in New Hampshire right now. We got both of the streams going. What up, y'all? Yeah.
Double trouble,
baby. Ghetto rig, bro. You take a look ghetto, man.
Yeah, also, I don't care. I'm ghetto fabulous.
Oh, this man. I haven't heard that since 1998.
Well, that's where he's stuck
I'm from Dog Patch, dog. You know where that's from? That's the streets of Boca Raton. Hardcore streets of Boca Raton. Hey, how you doing?
Take it away, Pasta.
Pasta, go ahead.
All right, welcome back to the Convo Couch, MCSC Network, here again in New Hampshire with our homeboy Niko House, Fiorella, Johnny Sue, Mike Ungie, and Steph over there.
You said Gigi.
Sorry.
Steph's behind the scenes. You're killing it. You're exposing the photographer, bro. Come on, man. You're exposing the ghetto rig that we got here. Exposing the photographer. Like, good guy. Anyway.
Yes.
So, it is primary day. It is finally here. And we are excited. We're all nervous because we know that New Hampshire has a lot of implications on everything that comes next for all of us. We know that winning just is to win in a very particular way, and some people have to lose in a very particular way as well for us to have a lot more confidence going forward and put our feet in the necks in the establishment. So yesterday we decided that we should go to watch the very first ballots in the nation be cast, and that led us to Hart's location, New Hampshire, in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
Nowhere.
When I tell you nowhere, no. Some people will say they're in the middle of nowhere. Nah. This is, you ever remember 3G? Your phone, when your iPhone used to say 3G? Like when the iPhone 4 came out? That's where we was at on the way there. Then when we got to the location, there was no signal. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. They don't have internet up there. This is the type of place, they couldn't even use machines if they wanted to because they do not have internet. But they take like I said, New Hampshire takes their voting very, very seriously. And it was an awesome experience. They let the eldest cast their vote first. Her name was Miss Nancy. She casted her vote for Tom Steyer. Now, granted, that was the only vote he got, but she casted her vote for Tom Steyer. And it was awesome because for her to have casted that vote for Tom Steyer, you have to know that she didn't choose that because CNN or MSNBC told her to. Regardless of how you feel about Tom Steyer, she chose that because she wanted to. So for this particular city, in all the cities that participate in this, it's actually a legal requirement for you to vote. They will find you. You have to vote, or you have to file a piece of paper saying you are not voting for anybody. Those are your only options, but you got to tell them. You can't just not show up. There was one guy who they elect somebody called the Select, and the Select is basically an election bounty hunter. He finds people who don't show up to vote. It was awesome, but basically, we got to watch them cast their first ballots. They lined up in alphabetical order. They, surprisingly enough, they said, "Hey, look, there's no absentee. Are there no ballots being stuffed?" They show you the ballot counter. They count the ballots and tally them in front of everybody. Oh my God, it's almost like that's how an election should go.
Yeah, it was done really well. Very, very
It's almost like that's how an election should go. Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like we are too obsessed with quick results.
That was so efficient and quick, too.
They were
only
efficient.
50 people.
But 50 people, there's only a couple of 100,000. So you have maybe 20 people helping count ballots instead of 5.
Yeah. And 20 people were Republicans, 18 were Democrats, so those were the ones that voted in the election.
Yeah. Now, what was interesting about this was that Amy Klobuchar won the area that we were at and ended up winning overall.
Yeah, she did.
So people had said that they supported Klobuchar because of that debate. Now, for those of you who may be new to the MCSC network or the Convo Couch, we have been saying for the last 3 days, y'all better watch out for Klobuchar. Have we not been saying that?
Yeah, we did.
We've been saying this because the thing about Klobuchar, and I really didn't realize this until maybe yesterday evening, Klobuchar is everything Warren claims to be.
But she's blatant about who she is.
But she's blatant, but she's not, but she doesn't lie. right?
Like, oh, I'm a progressive, but I'm actually a moderate. You know?
Yeah, she says I'm a moderate who just sometimes happens to pass progressive legislation, like she didn't say, oh, Bernie's my friend. I work with Bernie a lot. Bernie's my friend. What the hell you work with? Bernie's my friend. I work with Bernie a lot. Trying to co-opt his message, trying to co-opt his movement, trying to co-opt his legislation.
Yeah.
What she does say, though, however, which kind of gives us a little insight, is, hey, you know what? Me and Bernie worked on this legislation together, and gives Bernie credit for what he achieves.
Yeah.
And that's a problem for us. That's a problem for us because it could be pitched off as, look, that's pie in the sky what they're asking for. I know how to get legislation done, and I've worked with some of these people, including Bernie Sanders, to get it done. So you can't question that. And what Bernie wants hasn't been done. What I would like to see done has been done, or I've gotten very close to it being achieved. So she and her taking out Buttigieg seems to have had a resounding effect.
Yeah.
Because his momentum almost basically died when we got here, if he did have any.
He did. Yeah.
And so
zero votes for him last night too.
Zero votes for him at our precinct.
Zero, yeah.
What, there was like two.
I think he got two.
He had two votes.
He got two overall.
He got two in all three counties.
Mm-hmm.
Biden only got two, all three counties. Yang got 3 in ours alone.
Yeah.
Which was very interesting and unexpected. But when you consider the fact that $1,000 a month up there could literally build them a mansion,
for a long way.
I guess it shouldn't be that surprising. So something special happened last night as we were on the way to the what's it called, Hart's location. We were all worried about, of course, Bernie and Tulsi both, right? Because we're like, yo, this is like out here. How the hell can we expect for them to get a vote? What happened? You know, we didn't quite understand the implications of this in the long run, and we don't even know if it'll have any serious implications in the long run. But I will say, in 2012, in the Republican primary, they picked number 1 and number 3 in big, not at where we were at, but the one further up north.
Yeah.
That's called Dixville Notch.
Dixville Notch picked 1 and 3, and they picked Huntsman and Mitt Romney. And so so clearly maybe,
yeah.
But those are also conservative bastions, so we should probably preface with that. So that might be why they picked a little bit more accurately.
Yeah. Last election, I believe that town that we were in last night, King's location, right?
No, Hart's location.
I always say Hart's location. I'm bad with names. They picked Kasich, right? Last time we heard them talk about last election.
Yeah, so maybe that's what they were talking about.
The last
Kasich.
John Kasich.
Okay, so they were talking about their. Cause they said Kasich won New Hampshire. Like, I don't remember that.
Okay, so but
the primary,
4 years ago, it was like 12 votes for Bernie and 7 for Hillary at the location we were at last time. So I don't know what that means. That could just mean that they really hated Hillary Clinton and they only had 2 choices pretty much, and then some random person that decided to run.
which I'm gonna get into in a second, because I think that's actually a problem for Bernie, because he got a lot of conservatives in 2016.
Yep, he did.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
We don't know how that's gonna go this time with Klobuchar in the picture, if she ends up, because they're not going to vote for Buttigieg, but Klobuchar is a different breed. Yeah. She is,
and I don't think impeachment helped Bernie in that regard as well.
Which Fee had been preaching honestly as a Bernie supporter for quite some time as well. So, but something special happened. We were on the way. We were all kind of biting our nails, and as excited as we were to cover the election, of course, we also have our preferences, which is Tulsi and Bernie. And we get here, and we found out they're mostly conservative. We know we had one of 3 locations to choose from, but we went with this location thanks to Pasta. And as they're counting off the ballots, they give, Bernie 2 votes. And we're like, whew, okay, wipe the sweat off our brow a little bit. Then they get all the way down to the end. The last name, actually, is Tulsi Gabbard. And they say Tulsi Gabbard, 1 vote. Now, granted, in the context of everything, like they got 3 votes here, 4 votes here, 2 votes here. Like, it's small votes, right? But we picked the first location where the first ballot for Tulsi Gabbard was cast in the entire nation.
Yep.
That is incredible. And what was even more incredible is that Johnny Tsunami, producer extraordinaire, photographer extraordinaire, cinematographer extraordinaire, all by accident.
Pain in the ass extraordinaire.
Pain in the ass extraordinaire too. But
Fiorella has a camera.
I have it.
she has it.
There's like
He
two
has
different.
it.
Put it on your face.
There's
Oh my
like
God.
two different.
They want to see. Yeah, why is it outside?
Because it's beautiful outside.
Yeah, but we can't. You're speaking.
Well, we have two different.
Anyway, but
Put it on Niko right now.
Johnny Tsunami
It's
got
already on him.
Johnny
Not on
Tsunami.
our channel.
Oh my God! Can I finish? Can I finish the thing? I'm telling the story.
Johnny.
That's what I deal with, people. Jesus. Anyway, Johnny Tsunami got a picture of the very first Tulsi Gabbard ballot, and before we arrived there, you know, I was talking to Mike Ungi and Steph because they're Tulsi supporters, the authors of the and shout out to, because that song is dope. But you know, everybody having anxiety because we know how well Tulsi needs to perform here. And once again, if you're a Bernie supporter, you better hope she performs here as well. Especially after what we saw here this weekend, there's some legitimate problems in this race potentially. So we were like, what happens if she doesn't get a vote? We know is it really have any implications on it? No. But what if we pick the wrong location? What if she doesn't get anything anywhere? What if we're at what if the vote is cast and we missed it? There's a lot of reasons to be nervous. And all I said before we started was, look, everywhere the MCSC network goes, we do something special. Fiorella goes to Iowa and just so happens to catch the first coin flip shenanigan. Like, which was kind of crazy because I thought, oh wow, okay, all clear. Everything is going to be good. And Fiorella catches it. Just like that. Pasta had caught, I think Pasta and Fee were both there, but I think it might have been you, Pasta, in LA. They caught them lying to voters about how to vote and how they could and could not vote. Pasta just happened to be there. We caught things at the California convention, like the amount of momentum that both Tulsi and Bernie had that we kind of expected Bernie to have that momentum, of course, but we didn't expect Tulsi to have that equal of momentum in San Francisco at that Democratic National Convention, having people with other candidates' shirts on coming to take pictures with her. And obviously we go back to 2016, where we were in position to expose the DNC fraud lawsuit and the Hillary Clinton Victory Fund. How we were the ones who came out initially and actually told the truth about Tulsi, reminded everybody in the beginning of 2019, remember who's on our team. And we were there to help usher in Tulsi's independent media, soiree, where she went to all the... So wherever we go, because we have an amazing team with us, special things happen, and we just happen to be there to catch Tulsi Gabbard's first ballot ever. And that's not just special for this election. That's not just special for Tulsi. What it is, in my humble opinion, is very reminiscent. I wish I would have been there for Bernie's first ballot in 2016, because we know what came after, right? Bernie got 12 in that precinct when there was only 2 people. Of course, it was him and Hillary, but that was a conservative area. And then we found out for the first time, oh shit, Bernie's really popular with conservatives. And nobody was expecting that. Just nobody was at the time, but he was. And that helped us going forward. We learned last night, everybody in that crowd, no matter who they voted for, liked Tulsi. Almost everybody except for the conservatives liked Bernie, but even some of the conservatives loved Bernie. And so we also learned that Trump is not invincible.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of those people, if they got the right person in the general election, they made it clear that they would be willing to let the...
Yeah.
But catching that vote for me as a Tulsi supporter, this isn't me as a journalist, but as a Tulsi supporter and as an observer, it was very symbolic of a middle finger to the military-industrial complex, a middle finger to everyone who doubted Tulsi Gabbard, a middle finger to those who thought that they could smear Tulsi on mainstream media, smear her on CNN, smear her on MSNBC, and somebody, like I said, there wasn't that many voters clearly. But you had to touch somebody there to get their vote. You had to touch them. You know what I'm saying? Like Elizabeth Warren, for some reason, was able to get 4 votes. Yang was able to get 3 votes. They didn't have to deal with the smears that Tulsi did. But somehow, without internet, without internet, okay, I don't know how they were able to do their own research, but without internet, with seeing mainstream and seeing nothing but smears, without influences to help educate them on Tulsi, without knowing if she had a legitimate chance to win, somebody in this small mountain town, without internet, did the right thing, regardless of where it may have taken them, regardless of whether they were going to be on the winning team. And it gave me hope that there are going to be many, many more people like this throughout the nation. Because we do have the information. You all do have the benefit of independent media like Positive Fiorella, like Robbie Yeager, like Adrian, who does Case Study QB, exposing the mainstream media with all those clips of their horrible takes. You know, y'all do have people like Jimmy, like Ron Pacone, like Graham Elwood, like Lee Stranahan and Garland Nixon of Fault Lines. Y'all have so much information, and y'all have taken that information, and y'all have used it as a weapon and a shield. You know, and these people, a person I should say, was able to make the right decision with and there was a lot of candidates on that ballot, and a lot of candidates that come up here. And somebody saw through that with no help, just their conscience and the information that they had available to them. And going forward, that means a lot for the progressive movement. We just have to remember where our goals are, in my humble opinion. Thank you, Gloria, I appreciate that. Independent media is absolutely where it's at. But we have to remember our goals as a movement. Remember that after New Hampshire, it doesn't stop. No matter where this election might take us, it doesn't stop. In fact, I would think that we all agree it's just getting started.
Yep.
You know, Fiorella, how did you feel about, just seeing Bernie do well there? He got second place? No, Warren got second place.
No. Yeah. Well, there he
second there, but
he got fourth, I think.
Really?
Yeah, he got two. Yang had three, and Warren had four.
Fourth, actually.
But overall, he got second place because Warren had 4 overall, Bernie had 4 overall, Yang had 3 overall, Klobuchar had 6 overall, and then I think Biden and Buttigieg had 2, and then Steyer, Tulsi had 1. And Bloomberg actually got 3 overall, which is, to me, disturbing because I don't know how you would vote for Bloomberg, especially
listening to the radio. He buys a bunch of radios.
Yeah, well, he has a lot of ads, and if you're not paying attention, you're going to look at those things and look at the ads. But I feel like this is a start. I feel like this isn't really representative of New Hampshire entirely because they're very, very small towns. One town had only 5 votes total, so that's probably why I knew Bernie wasn't going to get the most because everybody was over the age of 50. And unfortunately, or fortunately for Bernie, the majority of his support are younger people, people below that age. And so I think we're going to see his numbers rise up. I think we're going to see Tulsi's numbers rise up. But I really genuinely feel he's going to take New Hampshire. I don't feel like Buttigieg has as much support as they've tried to pretty much, fabricate, as the media has tried to fabricate. So, yeah.
You know what's interesting, too, last night is the fact that when we talked to some of the voters after why they voted for who they voted for, the one person who was under 50 who did vote for Elizabeth Warren, she said she was so intrigued by the wiping out student debt. And I was like, well, you know who started that? I didn't want to say that, but I didn't, but that's the thing that really moved her. But 2 of the people who did vote for Klobuchar, they were so impressed with her in the last debate. And that really made me upset because these debates matter. And the fact that they did shut out Tulsi Gabbard, a lot of people won't watch the early debates. They'll watch the ones as they get closer to their primary. And the fact that Klobuchar handled herself well, had a great debate, really put some of those people over the top to vote for her. So that was really one thing that really pissed me off yesterday.
It was recency bias, which is why they went out of their way to keep Tulsi out of the debates, and which is why a lot of us are still, we expected it and we can't do much about it at this, but we don't trust the results in Iowa regarding Tulsi. Why would we? Their whole thing was make sure that she doesn't get a delegate, no matter what. Even in one precinct, do not let her get a single delegate. So, but it also bolsters the argument that we've been making since day one, which is, or at least day one since the primary started, which is these debates now Maybe not before, but now they do matter. And they can, as we've just seen with Klobuchar, they can sway an election. And if Tulsi gets her delegate, I think she'll do much better than that. But if she gets one delegate, she's back on that debate stage. And they got to feel that raft that Kamala felt. They got to feel that raft they got to feel that raft that Tim Ryan felt. They have to feel the raft that she tried to make Warren feel, but they protected her. There's Klobuchar is going to be on the debate stage for quite some time, in my opinion. Buttigieg is not going to last that long. Biden is probably going to be gone after South Carolina. Wouldn't you all agree? Based off of what we're seeing out
here. If he doesn't do well, I mean, that's supposed to be his firewall over there.
But they say that's his firewall, but Iowa was also his firewall, so I don't know.
I didn't think he was going to do good in Iowa.
Well, he didn't. Nobody did. But based off of this, their whole thing is, he has a black vote. Don't know if that counts anymore.
Yesterday was also interesting, too, because we had a Tulsi rally right down the street from a Trump rally. And
yes, that was
we
an
were
experience.
able to speak to some Trump people. Thank you, Glory.
Oh, by the way, thank you, Natalie. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You're right. This is just the beginning.
Yeah. And it was kind of interesting because there was a lot of Trump people walking right where the Tulsi rally was. And we were talking to a lot of them and say, hey, how do you feel about Tulsi? Oh, we like her a lot. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Trump supporters.
My husband's voting for her in the primary.
Yeah.
He switched from Trump to vote for her.
We were like, you really want to piss off the establishment? Vote for Tulsi in the primary and Trump in the general. You get to have your cake and eat it too, Trump fans. But yeah, I mean, it was just very interesting yesterday too, as well, because a lot of the Trump fans, they like Tulsi Gabbard. They feel like she's one of the only sane Democrats out there. That's their words. What they were saying yesterday. So, you know, very interesting.
It was also interesting because, just out of the parking lot, right? We met a Trump supporter who was like, yeah, my husband's voting for, was voting for Trump. Now he's voting for Tulsi in the primary, never stops talking about her. And she, even though she's still voting for Trump, but actually she said she's actually thinking about voting in the primary for Tulsi because I think she's undeclared. Like she hasn't even, people are really considering, which is interesting to think about because they're not, people think that these people are selfish voters, right? If they don't think about anything else, it's just, if I get Trump, I'm good. But they're trying to get Tulsi to run against Trump to test his mettle, to figure out who's actually the better out of the two. And that's actually, it's a little intriguing when you think about it based off, because it doesn't really vibe well with the narratives that we hear, which is that everybody is selfish. And I will say this though, and I believe that Pasta can attest to this. If you try to paint every Trump supporter, just like if you try to paint every Bernie supporter, just like if you try to paint every neoliberal or person who supports a neoliberal as a monolith, bro, you're missing the point. Yeah. We walked after, so they brought people into the Tulsi rally. They were about to take their MAGA hat off. Mike Unge was like, no, don't take your hat off, man. If that's who you support, that's who you support. And people here in this rally are going to respect that. Yeah. It's Tulsi's job to earn your vote, not us, our job to bully you into supporting her. So he comes in, shakes Tulsi's hand. The man walking out, MAGA hat and all, he didn't realize, I guess the music stopped because everybody heard him say, at least the Tulsi's people heard him say, oh my God, I shook Tulsi's hand. I just shook Tulsi Gabbard's hand in a whole MAGA hat. But you got to then question, okay, are you wearing a MAGA hat because of how much you love Trump? Or is it a bolder statement against the societal norms that you just believe that every Democrat represents, and Trump just trolled America to such a degree that you think that, hell, I just trolled America too. I'm tired of this shit. And you can't figure that out until you actually talk to people and reach out. So that's just, some food for thought. We're going to see what happens, y'all. We got a long day today. We're going to go see Bernie. I'm going to be speaking at Tulsi's event. So Fiorello will be covering Bernie's event. So make sure if you want to see Bernie's event, go to the Convo Couch. Yeah.
Can I say something too, Les? Niko's been giving some amazing openings for Tulsi. And I'm not just, patting him on the shoulder because, he's my good friend and he's my colleague. But it really was interesting, the questions he was asking. Every single time he always asked, how many people here are undecided? Now, a lot of times Tulsi would come out, who's Democrat, who's a Republican. The room was mixed. But when Niko was asking people who's undecided, a lot of people would still raise their hands. These people in New Hampshire are some of the most engaged politically engaged people I've ever met in my life, and they do their homework. And I think Tulsi won a lot of support inside those town halls. In fact, yesterday there was somebody who came in, they were asking questions, and this one young gentleman tried to have his hot Twitter moment where he can get somebody, and he started yelling at, what about the Council of Foreign Relations? What about the Council of Foreign Relations? Trying to get that hot video, like, oh, that's your Cracker Jack moment. You got him. And Tulsi even's like, wait, sir, you're being rude. What do you got to ask me? Go ahead. What do you got to ask me? Which just furthermore cements that the woman never hides.
Yeah.
She takes questions.
She didn't even care about the question. She was like, why are you being rude?
Rude, yeah.
Because everybody wanted to ask questions. All the media.
Yeah. He could have just sat with the gaggle,
questions.
right?
Yeah.
He could have just done the gaggle.
So he could exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And she generally always, especially for the bigger events. And I mean, the night before, bro, she was taking questions, especially if you really had a serious question, not some bullshit, but there was a veteran who had a very serious question about veteran suicides and taking care of people who are actually in the military right now rather than just waiting till they get out. And Tulsi sat there for another 30 minutes, 45 minutes after giving her an interview. So to pretend like she hadn't answered that question was silly. And what was even funnier is that if you watch our channel, you know, she's already answered questions on foreign relations. Yeah. We asked
First
her that.
question.
First question. We're the first ones to ask
gave a long,
her that.
detailed answer.
Yeah, and we were the first ones to find the shit.
Niko went over and said, hey, listen, I have an answer. He didn't want to hear it. He was kind of shunned off. He started yelling. They escorted him out. I went running outside, gave him a car. I'm like, listen, Niko House asked that question over a year ago.
Yeah.
And you can just go on there, see the whole answer, because Tulsi will not hide. But the way you went about that, my man, that was wrong. You don't just scream it out. We have a gaggle. You could have said it right off to the side and asked her a question like I did yesterday.
Yeah, you know? It's rude. It's not just because, it's rude to Tulsi, but it's more rude to the people who are sitting there patiently, not, being polite, waiting for their turn, and it was just disruptive, and it wasn't genuine. It wasn't genuine, excuse me, because I told him, I was like, hey, for this rally, for the rest of the weekend, I'm one of Tulsi's surrogates, so if you have a question, I can answer the question for you. Not only that, but I have time to answer it in greater detail. Yeah. So you don't have to get a short sound bite. I could give you context, et cetera, et cetera. So if you really like an answer, I can give it to you. Or you can just shut up, or I'm going to kick you out. Because if you yell again, I'm going to kick your ass out. So, but he was like, no, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'll stop yelling. I'm like, but I thought you really wanted this answer. Yeah. But he didn't want an answer. He wasn't there to be a journalist. He wasn't there to be a reporter. He wasn't there to be an analyst. Yeah. He was there for shock value.
Trying to get that viral.
Trying to get that viral video. And, I got to give a lot of respect to the cop who was actually very nice to him, even though the dude was being rude, because we gave him ample opportunity, and the cop only went up to him after I did. So, and the cop didn't rough him up or anything like that. I would say that the bodyguard for Buttigieg actually, he grabbed you worse.
And you can go to my Twitter at YoPasta if you want to see it. Literally, I was, day one when we got in, I was asking Pete Buttigieg, because there's different candidates out there. Tulsi will answer everything. She will not hide. Pete Buttigieg won't answer shit. And if you do get a chance to answer him a question, it's going to be platitudey as hell. So as he was coming out, I was trying to ask him a question. As he got closer to the door, you could see one of his people, Buttigieg, point to the security guard. And then the security guard just kind of moved me up. You'll see my camera go straight up, roughed me up, grabbed me under my armpit. It was like, dude, you ain't got to touch me over here. But, And they were really nice to this guy. They were really kind. You know what was also nice, Niko, last night? Your opening speech was great. But the Hawaiian, the Samoan gentleman,
Samoan guy.
I shed a tear. And if you guys go to Tulsi Gabbard's YouTube for the speech yesterday, you'll see it. And somebody else was also rude, yelling some stupid stuff. But, man, what an amazing thing. And just to see somebody from where Tulsi comes from come out here miles and miles just to support, just to be here today, to give her the words, to give her the strength and the wisdom. I shed a tear. I thought it was amazing.
And he gave a speech, and somebody was rude about it. But that's, there's always going to be that guy who wants attention and because they want to hear questions. But what people don't understand is Tulsi's been fighting a long and arduous fight. It's just getting started. Yeah. And for somebody to come, another soldier with that experience, on their own dollar, because they weren't with the campaign, they don't know her personally, to deliver a message in her native language of hope and inspiration, that meant a lot for her. Yeah. It meant a lot to her. And it's not always about us. We appreciate what Tulsi does for us, but then it's time to remember that she got to have that energy, and she has to maintain that motivation, because what she's dealing with on a regular basis, good God almighty. Y'all don't even know.
I see some Trump fans over there. They're going to go over there and convince them, hey, you want to really piss off the establishment? Tulsi. Super chat contribution, as it is always appreciated in the car.
For real. So we've been trying to give y'all as much coverage as we can, just as we go along. And there's gonna be some more coverage. We're gonna give you some more coverage tonight for sure. And I'm gonna try to go live again before the event starts at Tulsi's.
Yeah.
But we just we wanted to give you our predictions and give the context of, because we couldn't go live yesterday just because we were really busy.
Yeah.
But so just as a brief update, as it stands right now, I am supposed to be going to South Carolina for Tulsi. So that's going to be interesting. It'll be fun. I'm honored that Tulsi even decided that she would like to have me there. But it also shows that Tulsi ain't getting, for those of you like, oh my God, Tulsi, please drop out. Oh, nah. Y'all in trouble now, boy, because you went from Tulsi drop out to, oh shit, she got Niko. You goddamn right. So if I'm on the team, you know what time it is. I'm a competitive motherfucker too.
Yeah.
I'm a competitive motherfucker. I don't like losing.
She's getting a good response out here, though. We're going to cross our fingers and hope to get some really great numbers today. So
I trust Pasta's super chat jingle before what? Before Pete Guido.
And it's always appreciated on the couch in the car.
Zing! So,
oh, by the way, Niko, we're going to have that video from yesterday uploaded soon. Ladies and gentlemen, we're driving in and out of dead zones here in New Hampshire.
Right now.
There it is.
On the iPhone.
We're driving in and out of dead zones here, so it's really hard to stream all the time. It is the middle of the wilderness out here, the Northeast, and there's a lot of snow out here. So sometimes we just can't go live because there actually is no, in that town, like you said, all these people were educated enough or educated themselves enough to find out why and why they wanted to vote for who they wanted to vote for without internet. Like a lot of people's like, I gave them my business card. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have internet. I'm like, what?
Before I give my predictions, I do want to say this. So we've seen, a lot of suppression and rigging. Now, I will say this, in New Hampshire, these people are educated. They don't necessarily believe what they see. We've gotten, a total of 0 questions about Assad.
Yeah.
0 questions about Russia.
Yeah.
And in except for one legitimate question about impeachment, 0 questions. Why didn't you vote vote no? Why didn't you vote yes? Why? He was like, hey, can you just clarify really quick about why you voted president? Because literally the media never really asked her. They just bitched at her.
Yeah.
And she explained herself. So it was interesting to me. Did I just see somebody say Tulsi isn't calling for a revolution? Because that's the dumbest statement that I've ever heard. She's literally saying fire Tom Perez.
Yeah. Yeah, and her speeches last night,
and let me be clear,
yeah.
Unity tour with Tom Perez, fire Tom Perez. You really want to go there?
Niko.
That's not a good direction to go, okay? Let's be real. So anyway, I do want to say that over our conversation that we've had with these crowds, we've noticed that a lot of them already support Tulsi, and even the undecided support Tulsi, and a lot of people are only undecided for one reason and one reason alone. They are fully aware of rigging, and they're not quite sure if she can overcome it. Not that she can't win, but they're unsure if the DNC will allow her to win. When we are at a level, when educated voters, because I mean, these are the most educated voters I've ever seen before in my life.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah, seriously.
The people who are undecided are more educated on Tulsi's politics than some of the people that are firmly decided on Tulsi Gabbard.
I know.
He saw it.
Yeah,
he saw it.
Yeah.
So when you have a situation where these voters are so educated on the process, in a room where almost 100% of the room, I said, who here is concerned about election integrity? Everybody.
Raises their hand.
Everybody.
So
for those of you who think that you're going to be able to win voters solidly without addressing election integrity, you best to think again.
Yeah.
And I imagine that's one of the reasons Tulsi gets so much support as well. So when you're talking about people who are educated, they know that this person has the right stuff, has the right policies, has the right, the right drive, is convicted in her principles. And the only thing that is stopping them is, we know the rigging exists, but because it hasn't been addressed, we don't know if she'll be allowed to win.
Yeah.
Because of the suppression, because of being kept off the debate stage, which pisses them off, but they still are like, because of all that, they're like, will she even be allowed to win? And when you have a situation where people are saying, is she going to be allowed to win? I don't give a damn who you support. I don't give a damn if you're supporting Bloomberg, or Jill Stein. Everybody should be speaking out about that, because that means we don't have a real election process. Yeah. If your candidate can only get votes because somebody else wants to choose another candidate, but doesn't because they're worried about them not having the infrastructure to combat rigging, that's not the candidate's job to combat rigging. It shouldn't be. It's becoming that way, but it shouldn't be. You should never, ever be happy that a candidate is getting a vote just because another person is worried about whether or not they can avoid rigging. That's disgusting. Yeah. But that is where we're at. Did we get a super chat?
You did get a super chat. Now I also want to mention something too after you read that super chat.
Please talk to Tosi on Handy interview in Portugal. I don't know about the Handy interview. I'm not gonna lie. Is that where she said the thing about the general that got fired, or chief of staff that got fired? Because look, I'm about that. I don't give a damn, boy. You ain't gonna lie. If I was your boss, you gonna lie on me in court for political clout and think that you're not gonna get fired?
Yeah.
His whole thing was to be fired. That was his whole thing. He was hey, we're gonna set you up, and then when it's time, just know we're gonna call your number.
What's that person say there? Because
Hope Tulsi can get at least 7 to 8% of the votes.
That's
actually super reasonable.
I think it's super.
Yeah, that's super reasonable. I was hoping for higher, but that's reasonable.
At the last rally. Town hall we went to, there was a big gentleman who was wearing a shirt that says all gun control is racist, right? Mm-hmm. And it's funny because, people in New Hampshire, they love their guns. But in the first town hall we went to, there was a gentleman who stood up. And this is what I talk about, the courage to stand by your convictions, what Tulsi does. And he says, are you for an assault weapons ban? And Tulsi's in a room knowing that most of these people do not want an assault weapons ban. She says yes, but then she gives her reason, and it's so great. But that's the thing about Tulsi. She will not shy away from what she believes in just to appease a crowd. You know what I'm saying? Which
is what people say she does.
It's the biggest crock of shit. I just saw her in a room with 200 people who I know most of them. What's the slogan here? Live free or die. Okay, and they don't want any of their civil liberties taken away from them. They don't want any gun control over here, especially in a rural area like this. But she'll say what she believes in, and then she'll explain why. And it was a great back and forth. It was very, very. Once again, these people are so educated on what they want to do.
And real talk, they know they shit. A dude who was in the military was like, I want my assault weapons because I want to protect myself from government tyranny. Ain't want no bullshit. He didn't say, well, what if I just want to shoot? What if a robber breaks into my house? Like, that's like, bro, I don't know what scenario you breaking into your house. Like, are you doing some crazy shit that you need an assault weapon for somebody that might try to kidnap your kids? Okay, that's only letting you know that you need to get your life together. But when you say straight up, I see the direction our government is going, because this is something I believe in. I don't trust when Beto said the shit he said about banning everything, and no, sir. Nope, I'm not on that team. Sorry. I'm a black man, bro. I'm a believer in the practices of the Black Panther. I'm not playing. I don't play about my Second Amendment, and I don't play about other people's Second Amendments either. So
that's an issue. I think a lot of people are kind of evolving and whatnot. But once again, I think
it's a nuanced discussion.
It is a very nuanced, and it got even more nuanced when they started talking about the flight ban and how people got on that, whatnot, the list, and how it correlates to how the people. They said if this gentleman couldn't get on a plane and fly, why couldn't we flag him down to know that he could, get a hold of an automatic weapon and go crazy?
Because it makes you wonder how they're making those decisions. Yeah. Mitch Osborne, thank you very much for the super chat. Any word on voting booth shenanigans or anything voter suppression? You know what's surprising?
Bye, guys.
We have a bunch of volunteers on the ground. You out? Yeah. Okay.
You got your passes?
Yeah.
All right, say bye, Fee.
Bye.
Hold on, where you going?
No, they were signed out on our convo couch.
Oh. I thought they were leaving.
Still here,
oh, man, here. Jesus. But yeah, it's for as far as weapons are concerned, we know what the problems are and what needs to be addressed, and I agree that we do need to have an assault weapons ban. But also, I know that we have to have an assault weapons ban, and I don't know if it should be permanent. Like I don't know, because we have so many cultural issues we need to address. We have social anxiety, like economic anxiety, a lot of hatred because of the scapegoating that takes place because of economic anxiety. We have racism. We have domestic violence issues. So all these things. Thank you for the super chat. We have all of these issues, that, and then people are just picking up an assault weapon out of somebody else's house and blowing and just going crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm not even saying that it has to be permanent. Because in New Hampshire and Vermont, like they always brag about, it's safer here than damn near anywhere else in the country, and they're the two states that allow assault weapons. Or at least New Hampshire does. I'm not sure about Vermont.
It was
But
Maine was the safest.
Maine. Johnny Sue over there in the 1s and 2s yelling out Maine.
Johnny think he knows politics and shit now, man.
Especially, man, we had some good lobsters yesterday, me and Ungi.
So, but the truth of the matter is, what I love about Tulsi is what Pastor just said. Like, yeah, I can say what I believe we need assault weapons for eventually, because government tyranny is a very, very real threat, and nobody in this car will disagree with that shit. But Tulsi's like, but with that being said, we have to deal with the immediate problem. What did you say? Stop the bleeding.
Yep.
What was it? Yes, we got to stop the bleeding first before we try to go on to the next step. Acknowledge and then move on. Some people have to make a little bit temporary sacrifices. It is what it is. So, and that's a hard decision to make. But she didn't pander, and in fact, I think that everybody could confidently say Tulsi takes so much shit because she never panders. When the left hears something that Tulsi says and they don't like it, they're like, oh, she's pandering. No. What you mean to say is she's not pandering to your ass, and therefore you're offended. How dare you not pander to us and say exactly what every other leftist on Twitter says you should be saying?
You didn't get that email?
Right. Hey,
you were supposed to say that.
No, you didn't get that email for Move On?
Huh?
Everybody gets that fucking email from Move On.
the economic
No, the war on drugs, Hannity tried Tulsi on it.
No what?
He challenged her on the war on drugs?
Who?
Hannity. Yes,
What?
Bro, you can't win that. You can't win that argument anymore. Even Tucker Carlson doesn't believe in the war on drugs.
Yeah.
So that's stupid. I'll check it out though. I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Don't you think the economic anxiety, the economic stress leads to so much of that when we talk about mass shootings or
drugs, mass shootings? Almost every problem that we try to regulate
is economic. Yeah.
Regulating symptoms rather than,
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. It's their symptoms that come out of this economic distress because when you're sitting there, you're starving, you're one accident from being thrown out of your house or getting your electricity turned off, you're going to start looking across the street and blaming people who don't look like you or sound like you or share the same goals and values as you, and then the next thing you know, a lot of these mass shootings, they go through the roof and whatnot.
And you know what? That's why I love Tulsi, because she's the only candidate, sorry Fiorella, but she's the only candidate she will address the symptoms all the way down to the foundational problem. Right? So she doesn't pretend, for example, that classism is not the root cause. But she says, oh yeah, I'm going to support, HR 40, which is the Committee to Establish Reparations, because she believes in that. So that addresses race issues and she talks about private prison industry and things like that. Then of course, prescriptions. She wants accountability for the people trying to push those prescriptions in the way that they do, in a very illegitimate way. But she also wants people who can get medication to be able to afford it, because we know how it goes. You will die if you start rationing your diabetes medication, right? You will die. You could commit suicide if you're not able to get the help you need and then get the medication that you need in the increments that you need it. Holistic medicine. Tulsi believes in that as well. It's supposed to be part of her single payer plus bill. So election integrity, to make sure that we can put politicians in place to get all of this stuff done, right? People say, oh, I can't believe she's okay with drones, and that's some people would disagree with both her and Bernie on that. But if she understands all of the symptoms that have been used to justify illegitimate drone use, then I can probably safely assume them drones are going to be sitting there unless it is absolutely positively necessary to use one. And even then, I don't even know if it would be used in the way that we've been using it in the past, to attack one person and end up killing mostly civilians. I don't think that she's about that type of stuff. Yeah. So, and that's just a very unique thing to her. She does not only, some people, because classism is the foundational issue that really caused a lot of these other peripheral problems that we do have to address, including climate change even, I would say. But it's like the analogy I gave about the car when we're talking about addressing racism, if we want to talk about this. If racism is the tire and classism is the engine, it don't matter if the engine is running, your tire's flat, your ass ain't going nowhere. You gotta, if feminism or if sexism is your alternator and your alternator's dead, you can recharge it every now and then. You might ride for about 15, 20 minutes, but it's gonna die on you completely eventually. Your car is not going anywhere. If you want to talk about, healthcare, your exhaust. If your exhaust is messed up, you ain't going nowhere. Or if you're gonna get there, you're gonna pollute the air. You're gonna fuck your car up before you get there. That's how we have to take care of our society. Is address everything, including the engine. Not, we can address the engine and pay attention to the engine and everything else will just fix itself. What the fuck? Where they do that at? There's in no other aspect of life can you just fix the main problem alone and ignore and pretend as if these other issues are not important. Your car has to move, right? Your engine working sounds good. You can rev that bitch up. Oh shit, I ain't going nowhere. Oh, but it sounds so good, right? That's how neoliberals act. It sounds good. You hear I'm stepping on that gas. Sexism, vroom. You're racist, vroom. Cory Booker announced on Martin Luther King or fucking Black History Month, vroom. Kamala's black, vroom. Damn, bro, we haven't gone anywhere yet. But the engine is so damn. That's what it is. You're not fixing the car. You're trying to fix the engine, pretending like that's going to get you somewhere. And that's what we need in our leaders. Now, Bernie does a decent job of that as well. I personally don't believe he does good enough on it. Fiorella does believe he does good enough on that. And she has a good argument to make for it. But overall, I think that we all agree that that's what needs to happen, regardless of who it is that brings that change. So, with that being said, I want Fiorella to make her predictions before I go.
Yeah.
Predictions on
1, 2,
tonight.
3, 4.
I mean, I think Bernie Sanders is gonna
Everybody,
here, obviously. not just because I like him, but because I've seen the ground game he has. I've seen the amount of people that are showing up to a Canvas event. Because I've seen, just the amount of media that's already there right now, ready to cover this event with him. Mm-hmm. I think he has gotten the endorsement of very, very important figures in New Hampshire already. And I think he has still some of that independent and Republican pull with people who haven't left because of his, here and there mentions on Russiagate. His
Russiagate is a non-issue here, seemingly.
Yeah. So I don't think people really care that much about it. But and then I think I genuinely think Klobuchar will do pretty well. I think Tulsi Gabbard is gonna go further than people think. I'm not sure. I don't know if I think not being in the debates actually hurt her. I do think that the mainstream media smears have hurt her. And it's that is not her fault, but I also think that there are a lot of independents and Republicans that the Democratic Party isn't considering when they make these when they do these polls and when they make these assumptions as to who's going to do really well. So I think she can get those Republicans and independents that aren't being counted in these polls and may very well surprise in how well she's doing. I also think Warren's going to do kind of lukewarm like she's been doing. And I think she'll stick it out. I think then Joe Biden. I don't think Buttigieg is going to do as well as people think. I'm
telling you, I agree.
They really want him to. They've been setting it up. They've been, paying people to show up to his events. Sure. All of these things they've been doing. I don't think he's going to do as well.
Yeah. I think Amy Klobuchar is going to finish second behind Bernie Sanders tonight. I'm hoping that Tulsi comes in third. I'm going to say Elizabeth Warren fourth. I think that's where the battle is, second, third, and fourth. I think it's the three ladies trying to get out. I do honestly think that Bernie Sanders is going to squeak it out. I don't think Bernie's going to dominate the way he did over Hillary last primary because it's just a different mentality here.
There's so many people. That's what they wanted.
Now, Yang will be ahead. I'm predicting Yang to finish ahead of Buttigieg and Biden. I think Buttigieg and Biden are going to be dead in the rim. But once again, Yang, where can he fit in here and whatnot? Like you said, the $1,000 a month goes a long way for a lot of people out here where their rent's low, their bills are low. It's not like LA, Miami living. So I think his whole economic proposal will really carry some weight at the voting booth today. So I really think it's just a mess between that second, third, fourth spot. Yeah. Anything's up for grabs. Like I said, I don't think the votes last night are going to be really indicative of everything that's gone around. So we're going to have to see. You know, we were telling people yesterday, those Trump people, like we said, you want to piss off the establishment, vote for Tulsi in the primary and vote for Trump in the general. You can have your cake and eat it too, sir. And they're like, oh, my wife's doing that, or my husband's doing that. We heard a lot of that. And somebody's like, you know what, I'm thinking about doing that because I'm a registered independent. There's a lot of registered independents. And I think a lot of people are going into that polling spot today not knowing exactly 100%, still up in the air, or who they're going to vote for. So the debates really did kill Tulsi in a lot of ways. I mean, a lot of the,
I wouldn't say it killed her. It hurt her because it helped Klobuchar. That's
Klobuchar
why
had such a strong, you know what I'm saying? And I think it even helped Steyer. That one vote last night, you know, I don't know if it was indicative. I don't saw the lady Nancy, who was one of the oldest living residents.
I haven't heard a lot of people say Steyer's name out here, though.
Yeah, but the vote last night, I thought once again, I don't think Tom Steyer or Bloomberg is going to do anything out here.
He has a lot of radio ads.
They do have a lot of radio ads. Nancy listened to the radio. The whole, she heard Steyer, but, you know, she said she thought what he had done, the fact that he was a billionaire, didn't bother her. The fact that he took the pledge, did those things, put the money towards climate change and for foster kids is really something special. So that's why she voted for him. But once again, back of the pack. I don't see him do. I don't Bennett, DeVell, Patrick. Let's get these guys out after this is done today and stuff like that. But once again, Bernie at the top, and I do expect a strong showing from Klobuchar today. That debate did help her out a lot. But we'll see. Yeah.
So, by the way, I see the super chats. Give me a second. Let's get these predictions, and I'll take care of them. So, my prediction is that Bernie will likely win. He filled at the University of New Hampshire 2,000 people. Now, granted, he finessed because he knew who his base is, but nobody gets 2,000 people in New Hampshire.
He got almost 8,000 in New Hampshire, actually.
But that was also in like another. It was what, community college and then University of New Hampshire, vice versa. So it was like a college town, but that's why you can't pretend like what we saw in the mountains is going to be what we see down here.
Right.
His young base is real. I mean, they've always been real. I fucking helped build them, unfortunately, for me at this fucking juncture. I'm just kidding. But it's real. But Bernie winning isn't bad for anybody, except for the establishment. I would like to say that I'm confident he's going to win by more, but I don't know. I honestly can't tell you because of Klobuchar. People think that she's what? No, they know for a fact she's what Warren pretends to be. Right? I think that's a pretty good assessment. People who they have liked Warren before, and that if they were independent, Klobuchar is a genuine version of Warren. Take the good with the good and the bad with the bad, but that's just who she is, man. She's gotten shit done that she can brag about out here in a very similar fashion that Tulsi and Bernie can brag about.
I mean, she's still establishment, still takes some money. She's
no,
not
I don't think she
do
takes
anything.
corporate money. She talked about it on the stage on the debate stage.
I would have to argue that.
I'm not gonna say she clean, but she don't take corporate money. She don't take super PACs. Not this election. I got so even if it's out in the. I'm saying, but prospectively from everybody else's eyes, she doesn't take it. So they put her in the same camp as Bernie and Tulsi, and then unfortunately Warren. Hey, but it is what it is. You gotta accept. You know, we can't pretend like these people don't have this perception.
Yeah, so, but you gotta look at her voting record and all of these things, and she is in no way in the same vein as
of course, of course. But she gets to brag about certain legislation that she worked on with fucking Bernie.
Yeah, but it's also the perception that people like her right now because she's getting rid of votes for Buttigieg. I don't think it's that. I think it's also created by this frenzy of like, oh, online, it's Klobuchar time. Like people are.
I don't see. My thing is, I don't see online. I don't see support for her online. I didn't know there was any real support for her until I came here. And people while y'all were in the Bernie event, we talked to people. Like we talked to people last night, and I'm like, what the hell? I mean, I knew that she was gonna do better than I expected, but there are people who the debate helped her out a lot. There are people who just think that she's not full of shit, and they're moderates. They're genuine moderates, not the bullshit moderate. And if she convinces them that she isn't taking corporate money, which she is going to verify, and if she convinces them that she's working in their best interest, hey, I'm not going to promise you the world, but hey, I can at least promise you the moon. Like that's what they're going to take because they believe it's pragmatic and it's practical.
But outside of New Hampshire, I don't really think she's very.
No, I'm not worried about outside of New Hampshire. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I'm just talking about right now in New Hampshire. So in 3 2 or 3, I do believe it'll be Tulsi or Klobuchar. If I'm speaking based off of what I'm seeing on the ground objectively, I would give a slight edge to Klobuchar, but that's also skewed because people, although they're much more enthusiastic and open about the support for Tulsi here than I've ever seen, there are still a contingency of people who are literally physically afraid for their well-being to admit they like Tulsi. Except for Trump supporters, who are very open. Yeah. Trump supporters will fucking yell that shit from the rooftops with a whole MAGA hat on, which is dope as hell. But there's still that real fear, which could work out in our favor, or it could hurt because they think, damn, I wonder how many people, like her too. And it is until they get to the Tulsi Gabbard events that they do realize they're not alone. They're in good companies. So that's going to be interesting to see, man. That 2-3 spot is going to be... Now, whoever gets 2 will be close to 3. Whoever gets 3 will be close to 2. I don't think the delegate separation between 2 and 3 will be as much as it will be between 1 and 2. Would y'all agree with that? Yeah. Like Bernie's going to win pretty significantly, but not as much as we probably would have liked him to. And then 2 and 3 will be very close to each other. So when you call them 2 and 3, I'm not sure it'll be like a legitimate 2 and 3.
I think he's going to still win by a sizable amount, but just nothing like it was last time.
Nothing like where he's like, I don't think he's going to get like 38%, right? And then everybody's screwed. Yeah. Nah. So that's, I think Tulsi and Klobuchar finished 2 and 3. You figure out which one will finish which. Now, I think that Warren and Yang are interesting in that 4 and 5 spot. I think that Warren is not that as popular as she would be, because they even coming out with articles saying that she's blackout. There's a blackout on Warren now. Oh my God, there's a media blackout on Warren.
Did you see that? Yeah.
Really?
I think that was our boy, what's his name? Who's just found religion. Peter Dow said, I think Bernie's doing good and I'm all for him, but you can't deny the fact that there's a media blackout on Warren. I'm like, no, she's just not the cup of tea right now.
Wait, where's he going?
I think he's gonna get some pizza.
Yeah, he didn't eat. Well, no, he ate pizza. Anyway, but so basically there's, I think the internal polling is showing Warren falling, and it's freaking them out because they know that she's not doing anything in South Carolina.
Nope.
She might do something in Nevada, but she hadn't spent a lot of money there and a lot of time there. And that's probably going to go to Bernie and Buttigieg again. Not because they support Buttigieg, but because Buttigieg is a fucking cheating bastard. And so that's going to be interesting. But I think that Yang might actually beat Warren for 4th. And if he is, and honestly, to be real with you, if he does better than 4th, he's going to probably be 2nd. That's how I feel about Yang. He's a weird kind of wild card out here. I don't know if people, I haven't seen his rallies. I saw one that was okay size, but then I haven't seen anything since. So I don't know. If he's better than 4th, he might be 2nd, but I don't think that Warren can beat him. And if Yang beats Warren, we're finally done with her. Like, no matter what happens next. She'll be out of the debates, maybe the next 2 debates you think she'll be out?
I don't know. I feel like the establishment is still gonna try to keep her up.
Bro, I think that Amy Klobuchar is their new pony. If she does well here, she'll be their new pony. Because they can only afford to back one now. They got to pick one soon.
But Warren has a lot of support in California, and
so you think that she'll try to stay until Super Tuesday?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think most of these people are gonna stay.
Yeah, because they don't want Bernie to get them damn delegates.
No,
they don't want Bernie to get them.
That's the whole plan.
And if, in my opinion, because look, California's gonna be interesting because you got Bernie. They're gonna try to cheat the shit out of Bernie. It's gonna be bad, right? Because Bernie's from the beginning, it's been a walk-off home run. So even when Kamala announced, Bernie was still beating her in California at her height. So this is what they're trying to stop from happening. But then you have the realization that if you understand California demographics, you have the 2 largest, the 2 candidates who have the largest Asian donor base in a place where UCLA is a 70%. 70% of UCLA is Asian. Okay, not to mention the rest of LA. Then you have San Francisco full of East Asian and Southeast Asians as well. And so there's going to be a lot of attempts at voter suppression. And so Pasta and Fiola are going to do what they always do. We want to educate people. We're going to have to do a lot of education.
Yeah.
That's, we're going to have to do a lot of education on that.
Yeah. Somebody just asked me some advice today on California. Like, I can't wait to put my ballot in the mail. I'm like,
don't do
put
that.
that ballot in the mail.
Don't do that.
Take that ballot and walk it into a vote center. You're allowed to take your vote by mail and hand it on in. So
that, and then I think Buttigieg is going to, I think he's going to flop, bro. I know that sounds crazy.
I hope so.
But I'm thinking he's going to flop. But fourth place is flopping for Buttigieg too. So if he what's going to happen is maybe he passes Warren and gets fourth place. That's still a flop for him, because you just tried to tell the world that you won Iowa handedly, that you built up this momentum that didn't exist.
We're gonna go load stuff up on the thing.
So,
load stuff up there.
Overall,
yeah. I know,
that's my prediction. It's going to be Bernie first. Klobuchar and Tulsi are going to be vying for second and third. Probably going to be interchangeable as far as the delegates and the delegate momentum is concerned. I think that fourth and fifth will be vied by Warren and Yang interchangeably. I don't think the delegate separation will be that big of a deal, so that's why I group them in twos.
My bag.
And then I think that Buttigieg will fall. I think this might be his
coming in a second.
Coming back to reality party, right?
I don't know.
So let me check on these super chats real quick before we get up out of here.
Okay.
You got internet in there.
Why don't we? Hold on. What time is it?
They do.
It's. I mean,
I gotta go to the event soon.
Yeah, so I saw
4:45.
The reason why I went to the other place is because I saw that they said they're hiring a workplace, and I wanted to know where. And it's at middle school. That's like right down the street. This is right down the street. So
I'm scrolling to get to the super chats, people.
And how long do you think it's gonna?
That's at 7.
Oh man, did I miss something?
Well,
Okay,
I'm gonna go in
so
there, I
I'm
guess.
gonna go back
I'm
on
gonna
the
go in
super
there,
chats. I remember because they made the super chats disappear. So I think someone asked for advice on the Tulsi delegates for the caucuses. I have no idea which caucus you're talking about, so I can't really.
Stay here. Okay.
No.
I don't know which one you're talking about. So let me know which one, and then we'll go from there.
No.
And then so I saw one for Irv. What was yours? I saw you dropped one too.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Status Quo did steal Niko. Well, TYT stole it, but he gave it to him. And then took credit for it whenever the story broke. Again,
So we're gonna go get ready to post that Hearts location video, that awesome video. We were all there last night, historic moment. So we're gonna go get that done right now. And
that's fine. We gotta get that. We gotta do that.
yeah,
quick,
so
though.
tell people to look out for that. It was great last night. It was a piece of
Yeah,
He
make
goes
sure
like,
you're
y'all are
checking out
nerds
Comic
coming out, making us come out here, but I love, and it was something special. And yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna post that video now because we found some Wi-Fi at a McDonald's.
Right. Let me see. Oh, somebody asked,
Love you guys.
make a argument for why Tulsi shouldn't be VP, and I mean the only argument I can think of is that she should be president. That's the only argument I can think of. She's the most qualified presidential candidate in the history of the world. So there's that. I don't know if they were being maybe that question was primarily directed towards Fee. Maybe that's why. But there's not, once again, if you were applying for nuclear engineering job and you were like, oh, and they're like, hey, 70% of the job is nuclear engineering and 30% is word processing because you have to enter in all your data and all that good stuff, and you walk into that business and say, hey man, so I'm really good at Microsoft Word. They're gonna look at you like, oh, hell no. Get your ass out of my face. I did not ask. He's like, I was just telling you that you need that part. You need to be able to do that too. But that don't matter if you don't got the data to enter in because you don't know how to actually do any type of nuclear engineering whatsoever. That's basically where we're at. There's one candidate who has a foreign policy experience at every level. One candidate that has it. Not only as a soldier, but as a consul of foreign relations, but as a member of Foreign Affairs Committee, as a member of the Armed Services Committee, as a medic, then as a trainer of soldiers, as a MP. Kamala Harris. It's a little close, ain't it? A little close to the other woman. Any Tulsi delegates, encouragement for them. Absolutely. I'm just trying to understand if you're talking about the Tulsi delegates for the convention or for like the Nevada caucus. Because I don't think the delegates, I think there are some delegates that have been elected here, but I don't think they've been solidified yet, right? Because you actually have to win first. I thought, but y'all gotta educate me on Nevada's delegate process. Not Nevada, excuse me, New Hampshire's delegate process. If there was another super chat question that I missed, please let me know. Niko, Pasta also said Tulsi should be SOS and would be wasted as VP. I disagree. Yeah, I think Pasta said that a while ago though, and then we talked about it enough. We addressed it. This race is already in the bag for Hillary. Hey, don't say that shit because it's probably true. One about Nevada, one about gun control. What was the one about gun control? I think I might have addressed that. Tulsi is a literal imperial agent. Wow, that's interesting. I think that we might have two different definitions of imperial agent. Question: how many candidates are calling for the resignation of Tom Perez? I'm just curious. Anybody want to know? Robbie Martin is making a video about Niko House. Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Yeah, I figure, hey, you knew once I started introducing Tulsi regularly, that's coming. Because there are people who already don't like me for no other reason that how dare Tulsi contact Niko House before me. I have more subscribers. My sister's Abby Martin. My daddy's Megan McCain, or John McCain. I said that the gun issue was part of the military-industrial complex. Which gun issue, though? I mean, like, how is it part of the military-industrial complex? Because I would probably agree with that, just off of a historical context, but I don't know what that means in your context. Tulsi's an imperial agent and a Russian asset. Bruh, I know. That's amazing. She's talented, I guess. She can also do MMA and surf and snowboard, so I guess that's possible as well. Tulsi is my heart too. There's nothing wrong with that. She's your too. It's your vote. It's Tulsi's job to go get it. We don't vote shame here. I know that maybe you might be used to some other channels that do vote shame you. Just don't lie. Look, just don't lie. Like I know that there are people who have Tulsi as their number 2 that do not lie about her at all, and I can respect that. Killer Mike made a great point yesterday about black people not giving up their guns. You damn right. Killer Mike is the reason I'm so hardcore about my Second Right Amendment. I love watching Killer Mike. Niko and Tucker Carlson are going to be starring in a movie about Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, probably. I guess that'd be cool. I'm starring in a show about Tulsi Gabbard tonight at her event. You should be there, Manchester. Niko raised my expectations too much when he predicted Tulsi winning New Hampshire. Actually, don't actually accept that because we don't know. We really do not. Listen, the dominant voter demographic here is independents. Like more than Democrats and more than Republicans. And nobody has more independents going to their rallies than Tulsi does. So the reason we can't predict first is because the coverage that we see has been Bernie coverage, and Bernie has money that nobody else has, and he's next door to Vermont. But I honestly can't tell you because Hillary had much more money than Bernie did in 2016, had a lot more people on the ground, had bought all the television coverage, was getting way more coverage than Bernie was in New Hampshire. and he obliterated her almost strictly off the independent vote. So I can't tell you. I honestly could not tell you. And that was with Trump running simultaneously in an election that was actually of some type of consequence in the RNC. So now we're in an election where the Republican Party, like I said, we know Trump voters. We talk to Trump voters who are like, yeah, I'm at Trump rally, but I'm voting for Tulsi in the primary. I'm just going to vote for Trump in general. Or they are not voting for Trump in general if Tulsi wins. So, don't know. Reports out of Iowa was that Tulsi delegates were intimidated, harassed, and attacked. You're 100% correct. And you can only imagine how many people have kept their support for Tulsi silent because of that. Robbie Martin was a decorated 9/11. Well, to my understanding, Abby actually that's where she got famous, was actually exposing some of the lies about 9/11. And then, off of that, she talked about the military-industrial complex overseas. I'm missing the super chat. Okay, here we go. TYT is receiving funding from Google-owned YouTube to launch an online course called TYT Academy that focuses on creating digital first local news. What? You're joking. Where the fuck did you hear that at? Bro, you can't be an ally to the left if you're receiving money from Google. Am I wrong with that, Mike?
You're not wrong about
Am I wrong about what? Oh, but TYT, you're our allies.
Are you still on?
Yeah, I'm still on.
Hello.
What's up?
You've been on the whole time, Stephanie.
What?
You've been accidentally on in the background this whole time.
Actually, I'm editing here. Don't bother me.
Oh man, that's crazy. Are you sure about that, Mitch? I mean, Mitch has not led me wrong in the past, so I ain't got no reason to doubt him. But good God Almighty.
He's doubling down on it.
Oh man. What is the point of voting for Tulsi again? I mean, bro, you have to watch, I don't know, a year's worth of videos for that. That's not a question you get answered for free. I don't answer trolls questions for free. You gotta pay for that, broski. I got a network to uphold. You see all these people I gotta take care of. Copernicus Thinker, thank you very much. You did a fantastic opening for Tulsi. Nina on fire opening for Bernie. Yeah, oh man, she's been killing it. I love watching Nina's speeches, man. Cause she gonna tell it like she's more than anybody else on Bernie's campaign. She's gonna tell it like it is about the whole story. She's not just gonna tell Bernie's story, but she's gonna tell the story of the establishment. And that's one of the things that I love. That's Auntie Nina, man. Nina turn up. Niko, are Bernie and Tulsi more allied than is currently viable? Yeah, of course. They talk. They do talk. They talk often enough, I should say. I'm sure when they're campaigning all the time, they don't talk every day. But they talk. No, I'm not Tulsi's Nina. Nina is the only Nina Turner there is, yo. I am not Tulsi's Nina. I could never be Nina Turner. She's a breed of her own who has went through a struggle unique unto herself, which is what makes her such a unique firebrand. I can just be the best version of Niko and do whatever I can for Tulsi. I do things a little bit different than Nina too, on the back end. So I'm never, not ever, to be compared to Nina Turner. You're hitting out of the park for Tulsi. I appreciate that. I can accept that, But, the way Nina does her business is just, like I said, she's very unique. She's built up that credibility that, like, my voice can never carry farther, not at this juncture anyway, not at this juncture in my life. My voice can't carry farther than Tulsi's message, Nina, her message, Bernie just happens to be lucky he's on the receiving end, because that message is the same regardless, and she will have that reverberating effect where she can go. I can't go into South Carolina and single-handedly win it for Tulsi at this juncture. Only Nina could do that for anybody right now. That's why even Chris Matthews was forced to say, "You're the best surrogate I've ever seen." And he doesn't even like Bernie Sanders. He likes Tulsi though. He's always defending her after debates. It's weird, but he likes Nina too. That's the type of effect that that Tulsi has, or excuse me, that Tulsi and Nina have on the world. So one day I would love to be able to have that type of influence on people, where my energy just converts people no matter what their affiliation is. But for now, I'm just happy to be doing whatever I can for Tulsi. Some predict Tulsi in 5th, based on your view on the ground. If she places 5th, what would be your thoughts? So if she plays 5th, it would depend. I guess it would depend on how she plays 5th, because 5th is viability. Like, in other words, 5th is good. It keeps her in the news. It keeps her in the discussion. It also means that somebody else didn't get 5th, and it would that would create an interesting discussion as well. If she got her delegate, that's fine.
You guys are hungry, right?
No.
If she got her delegate in 5th, that's fine. Popular vote in 5th, I'm not happy with, but we'll work with it. But it's a step forward, clearly, because she's been called 8th place, 9th place. They've been trying to leave her name out of the discussion. So I wouldn't be happy with 5th. I'd be okay with it, but it's circumstantial. I would have to see what kind of 5th place it would be. But based off of what we feel on the ground, there are about 3 or 4 candidates I can think of coming in 5th before I even get to Tulsi's name, to be honest with you. So, but I can tell you who I thought might have come in 5th before, but I damn sure don't think she's gonna come in 5th this time. That's Klobuchar. So, other than that, man, if nobody else has any super chats, I'm about to get up out of here. Y'all done killed my phone battery. You got any more super chats that I missed? Don't be just asking a question. If Tulsi was Bernie's VP, which I mentioned before, so I'm not mentioning it again. If Tulsi was Bernie's VP, that would be the most unstoppable ticket in the history of the world. Ever. And it might be the most unstoppable ticket in the history of the world for the next, 2, 3 elections? Because it would be Bernie, Tulsi, Nina, and then 16 years of progressivism. Because good God, Tulsi and Nina, oh, Jesus. What she said, what Nina always said? Hello, somebody. That boy, ugh.
Nina Tulsi.
Oh, boy, huh?
That Nina Tulsi.
Tulsi wouldn't be able to be VP after.
Nina, Secretary of State Tulsi.
That actually is a possibility. There's nothing that would prevent her from being Secretary of State. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Or Tulsi Gabbard, head of the United Nations.
That too.
So, what happens next? It means a lot, because we can't. Bernie even says it's not me, it's us. That is not just.
Yeah. Make sure he.
Yep.
Shut up, P2.
What?
Shut up, P2. Only because the door kept opening.
The cold weather came in.
Cold weather, boy. I'm telling you.
Oh, sorry.
All right, peeps.
What? What are you talking about?
UBI over 15. Why has it got to be over something? Why does it always got to be over something, y'all? It got to be UBI over 15 an hour. Why can't we have both?
Yeah, that's why I don't like Yang's policies, because.
Well, I don't like the federal jobs guarantee without UBI.
I disagree. I think you need a UBI. I think it'd
silly.
be essential. I think it would.
If you are a stay-at-home mother, federal jobs guarantee doesn't do shit for you.
You are guaranteed a job.
You can't work if you're a stay-at-home. You know how important the first 3 or 4 years of your child's life is? Federal jobs guarantee, you can't be there for that. And that is, the reason that some people were able to outperform me in my younger years was because they had their mom there every step of the way. My mom had, luckily, a job, and say one of those jobs with a federal jobs guarantee that doesn't address the disparate impact that it had on my brother and I, just because there was a federal job. So she had a job say if it was just guaranteed to her.
Well, I don't think it would just be that. I think you have to look at, what other services would be provided to mothers.
No,
like for
well, no,
childcare and
but
everything
we're
else.
talking about in capacity, or in a vacuum. We can talk about services to complement, but once again, then why do we have to exclude UBI from that complement of a service?
I think UBI comes after you have the backing, so you can just put UBI in a capitalist system and expect it to solve everybody's problem.
But you can't put federal jobs guarantee in the capitalist system and expect it to solve.
But it's
everybody's
not just by itself. It's
But
coming with a bunch of
okay,
other
so
things.
Fee, that doesn't make any sense.
Of course it makes sense.
You
It's coming
you
with a
can't
bunch of other
say
things.
it comes with a bunch of other things, but then say UBI isn't coming with
Facts,
anything.
Protections. Well, no, Yang's UBI isn't coming with anything.
But Yang's UBI would have to be discussed in like whatever the fuck he says. He can give $1,000 a month, but it ain't gonna happen the way he wants to. Just like federal jobs guarantee isn't gonna happen exactly the way Bernie wants to. They're both gonna have to argue it out in Congress, get what they can, and based off of the needs of states, that it'll end up being, however the best version of it, whatever the best version of it they can get. But saying that Yang's UBI will be in a vacuum and then saying, but federal jobs guarantee will have a bunch of other stuff with it. That's not.
Well, because
you can't argue that genuinely.
It's attacking the core problem. I feel like a UBI without anything
It's
else.
not attacking the core problem, though.
100% disagree.
No.
Absolutely.
I'm as a person who's lived real life.
So you're saying nobody else has lived real life?
That's a logical fallacy. Did I say no, I didn't say that.
Okay.
That's like saying, just because you say as a woman, am I saying, you saying nobody else is a woman? No,
Yeah, but
that's
you're
not.
saying as a person.
No,
who's
I'm
lived
saying
real
as a
life, what do
person
you
who's
mean?
lived real life, who's literally lived through a mother who was fortunate enough to have a job and could work full time, sometimes a little bit more than that. With if she had a guaranteed job and a supplemental income, that means she doesn't need 2 jobs. That means she's there to visit and go to my games. That means I could have played 2 sports in 2 seasons versus 1 sport where she could afford to take that season up because she didn't have
as
to
someone
drive.
that had parents that worked both and they weren't able to do the same thing either. I mean, I totally get that. But what I'm saying is UBI under Yang is totally focusing on putting the problem only as a band-aid solution of $1,000.
Okay, but I don't
That's
agree.
it.
But I don't agree that UBI in a vacuum by itself should be introduced. I just said that. I said you need both. But you're saying, we don't need both.
No, I think you do. I think both would be best. But I would rather.
Well, that was the whole
But
argument.
I would rather have a federal jobs guarantee and a Green New Deal and all that stuff than just $1,000 because I don't believe.
Well,
that
you're
in
putting
itself is
but you're
bad.
saying a bunch of different policies all together. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about just federal jobs guarantee and UBI.
So it would be best to have both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. Like, if we couple everything, then yeah. And if UBI by itself is not good, and especially with that VAT tax shit, it was a whole different discussion.
Especially as someone that doesn't believe in capitalism the way it is now, I don't think it. I think it would just put eventually the burden would be put on the people.
But federal jobs guarantee emboldens capitalism.
How does that embolden capitalism?
It literally uses tax dollars that we pay with our taxes that we get from our jobs to give people guaranteed jobs to put them back on the slave ship of capitalism to pay their basic bills and their basic life needs. It doesn't embolden them to
not
be.
when you look at what is that MMT, and when you look at that system where as journalists we would be getting paid for what we do right now directly. We would be going because that's Bernie's economic plan for you to go to your city council and go to your state and say, hey, I'm a journalist, I'm doing this work, I'm going to get paid for this, and you would be getting paid.
But then
for
how
doing what
would
you love.
so how would you be able to pitch that? Is there a degree requirement? Would there be like a degree requirement for us? Because we're independent journalists, so how do we know that?
Well, you have to make your argument, you have to make your case, but the fact is that if you go under MMT and the idea that the money is there,
I believe the money is
going to be there,
but
then
it's still,
not,
but it's
not
still for
really
you to
paying for
participate
it.
in capitalism, though. It's
a market. It's more. I believe in market in small business markets. I agree. I don't believe in in
But most
corporations,
but
which
most
is
people
what's going on now.
For a federal jobs guarantee, most people are going to be working for somebody. Like that's just how that's how the world is. It's the natural
Actually,
order
the
of
way
things.
he explains it, and the way with MMT, how that would work is you would be your own. If you're an independent journalist, you would work for yourself. You wouldn't necessarily have to go and apply at CNN because CNN wouldn't exist because it would be broken down.
Can't say CNN wouldn't exist.
It wouldn't be the corporation it is
that
now.
it is right now. Well, that's
So
probably
there's,
debatable.
I mean, I
'cause
do
they-
think both of them go hand in hand. I agree. That's what they have in, socialist nations
Yeah.
in the Netherlands. I agree with that. But again, just by itself, UBI isn't the answer. And
of
I do
course
think
not.
that a federal job
Well, also, I
guarantee
think
needs
I'm about to say
go
I think
deeper.
Netherlands has a job guarantee to some degree. I can't like right after you graduate college or something like that. But or is it Denmark? I think it might be Denmark. One of them do. But yeah, I just believe that we have to make sure that we don't try to discount a plan because of the name attached to it. I think that's just like a huge fallacy that too many. What the fuck? We got people out here. Oh, okay. There's so much snow on the ground.
Then we're supposed to move on. Okay. I don't know.
Well, where will we park? No, this is the only place we can
This
park.
is voter park. Only.
Well,
We're voters, just not here.
That's another thing. I'm glad y'all brought that up because Bernie talks about that too, and so does Tulsi. Rent control. Like federal jobs guaranteeing you be out together, don't do shit without rent control.
Yeah.
yeah, that's. I mean, I asked Yang that question, and he didn't really have an answer.
Which
No,
is
he had an answer. It was just like,
It,
you know,
it wasn't a good
it
answer.
was a bullshit answer.
yeah, we agree.
Five guys are gonna get together
We've been
and-
trying to figure out why Yang hasn't talked about rent control this entire year. We've been trying to figure that shit out, and nobody wants to actually address that.
Johnny, you're pretty
I don't
close to those
understand.
cars.
I mean, he
baby.
doesn't talk about it because he doesn't plan on solving that. He plans on just giving
Who
people
says rent control doesn't
$1,000.
work? When our economy has been the strongest, every time our economy has been the strongest, it's in rent control period. During the rent control period.
All right.
And then as
We're
people
talking some
make
homes
more
too.
money, by the way, as people make more money and they can afford nicer places, the market would correct itself because you could charge apartments based off of who's willing to buy it. And people who can't afford it don't have to only rely on expensive apartments. But that being said, people, we gotta go do some goddamn work. Thank you for tuning into that live stream 7 Mikasa. And always remember more than anything else. Find your balance.
All right.
Peace.
Avoid attacks.